Lesson 7.3 is about functions involving e. Now you guys have not been introduced to what e is before, so here's just a few things about it. It's called the natural base e in mathematics, or the Euler number. I kind of think it's similar to the idea of pi. Pi is something that you guys know has a numerical value. It's 3.14 and continues on. But because it's so common in mathematics, it gets its own little symbol and name, pi. Well, e is very similar, just we don't see it till we get to higher levels of math. I'm going to skip down to here. You can see that e is approximately equal to this number, which would continue also. So about 2.718, and it goes on and on. It is an irrational number, and here is what it's defined as. Now this is nothing you would have to, you won't be tested on this piece right here, but mathematically what's happening is if you take 1 plus 1 divided by n and raise it to the nth power, and if you keep plugging in bigger and bigger numbers of n, so first if you were to plug in a 2, then a 3, then a 4 for n, all the way up to maybe plug in 100 for n or 1,000 for n, what you're going to find is as you simplify this, you get closer and closer and closer to this 2.718 number. So e, it's kind of like pi, it has a numerical value, we just use a symbol for it instead. Here I just wanted to show you a visual for what e looks like. Again, this 1 plus 1 over n raised to the nth power. As you put in bigger numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would continue, you can see that it's got an exponential shape, like what we've been seeing, and it's just getting closer and closer and closer to this line. And we would call this an asymptote on this graph because it's never going to touch it. It's just going to get closer and closer and closer. And see here they plugged in different values for n, 1, 2, 5, all the way up to 100,000. And they just get closer and closer to e. And so visually this is what e is. Again, you won't be tested on this piece of it, but just to give you an idea that it has meaning in mathematics. And e is, 2.718 approximately. That's pretty much all we need to know for now. You guys will be asked to do some simplifying with natural base expressions. Again, natural base is just meaning that you're using e. So you're just going to have to think about your exponent properties. If you have e to the 4th times e to the 5th, would you add, subtract, or multiply those exponents? And in this case, I know you would tell me, oh yeah, you add those if you're multiplying the same base, so we would say e to the 9th power, and that's all you would have to do. So you'll watch a video on this, but the idea is, look at what you would do here. You would simplify the 15 over the 5, and then if you are dividing the same base, are you adding, subtracting, or multiplying? So you're just using your exponent properties and keeping e in there within your answer. Because you can have e as an exponential function. That's when you put e raised to some power where x is up there in the exponent position. It can be a growth function or a decay function, and it all kind of depends on what your exponent is up there. If your r is greater than 0, so whatever you're multiplying x by up there, that means that you will have a growth function. It will exponentially grow. If your r is less than 0, then you will have a decay function. And then lastly, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on some of the graphing videos you'll see. You will be using your calculator for these to get your table of values, and your calculators do have that e button on there. I think there's a video showing how to find that. But what you'll do is you will graph the original function without any shifting. So you would graph y equals 2e to the x power, and then you'd say, how do I shift all those points? And that's when you want to look at what kind of shifting is in the graph. So the same shifting that we've been doing through all of Algebra 2. If you have an x minus 2, tricky x, that means we'll go 2 to the right. Any number up there with the x is going to shift your x's, and then that plus 1 on the end means you will be shifting up 1. So yeah, the graphs will be very similar to what you've been doing, just you'll be using the E button on your calculator to help get some values.